And hey there guys, this is Megablade J, and I just realized I have over 500 subscribers now. So I wanted to thank everyone who watches my channel, everyone who subscribed, I really appreciate it. And to celebrate, I decided to do a 2-for-1 review on the Sorcery Saga games I played for the Sega Game Gear. The original Madou Monogatari, or Sorcery Saga in English, were made by a Japanese company called Compile. This company had been around a long time, since at least the late 80s, and has created many classic games. Some of these include Gobilius for the Sega Master System, the Guardian Legend for the NES, and of course the many Puyo Puyo puzzle games for arcade and home consoles. The Sorcery Saga games were originally released on the Japanese computer, the MSX, on June 15th of 1990. Since then, they have been ported to various systems, including the PC Engine, and was remade on Sega's Genesis and Game Gear systems. Most of the games in the Saga series are first-person dungeon crawlers, starring the young sorceress in training named Arlie. If that name sounds familiar, that's because she's one of the main characters in the previously mentioned Puyo Puyo games. The Saga games are where she and many of the Puyo Puyo characters came from. Before playing these games, I had heard of the Puyo games before, but I didn't know much about them or the Saga series, as I kinda suck at puzzle games. When doing research for this, I was surprised to learn just how prolific of a series this was. Looking at everything from the mainline game to spin-offs, Arlie's been everything from arcade puzzlers, first-person dungeon crawlers, Pokemon-style RPGs, and even a DDR-style music game. I mean, look at this. Look at it. You look at it. You look at it. She's wearing a freaking hip-hop beanie. Right, anywho, today I'm going to be reviewing the first 2 Sorcery Saga games for the Sega Game Gear. What's that? Why not include number 3, which is also on the Game Gear? Well, you see, this is where I would do that review, but it's not translated yet. In fact, from what I can tell, most of the Saga games don't even have an English translation. While most of the Puyo games have either had official or fan translations, hopefully more translations get released, as there are many side stories and spin-offs those in the West have yet to experience. In the first game, Arlie's about 5 years old and in magic kindergarten. To advance to the next grade, she must retrieve 3 magic orbs from a tower filled with ferocious monsters and fatal death traps, which also happens to be located right in the middle of her school's playground. It's anime. Don't think about it too hard, you'll hurt your head. Just enjoy the crazy. In the second game, Arlie is now 16 years old and on her way to Magic High School. On the way, her wallet gets stolen by a monster that leads her deep into the woods. Unsurprisingly, she gets kidnapped and locked in a dungeon by Schizo, a magician who wants to steal Arlie's magic. She escapes and fights her way to freedom, meeting a bunch of wacky characters along the way. There's not a lot of story or plot twists in these games, but there are some interesting and entertaining characters. Arlie herself is pretty cute and comments on everything going on around her. Her interactions with other characters are hilarious, and I found myself laughing on more than one occasion. For example, the character Schizo. He starts off as a powerful dark wizard that at the beginning of the game can dang near one-shot you if you don't prepare. He tries to threaten you, but he says things in a way where he unintentionally comes off as a pervert. Each time you fight him, you can see him becoming more and more desperate, pathetic, and frustrated that he can't beat Arlie, and how she eventually becomes strong enough to basically one-shot him. And Arlie just teases the crap out of him for it. I mean, to be fair, he did, drug her, kidnap her, lock her in a dungeon, so, he kind of deserves it. But I love how these two interact, and even though he killed me several times at the beginning of the game, by the end, I was looking forward to his next encounter, and the next time I hand his butt to him. As stated before, the Saga games are old-fashioned first-person dungeon crawlers. You'll be traveling through monster-infested dungeons, avoiding traps, earning experience, and finding better items to help you survive in the deeper, tougher floors. It's not just all fighting and looting. There are some floors that actually have some pretty clever puzzles that require some actual thought to solve, and made me feel like a freaking genius when I did. Even at a young age, Arlie is a powerful magician and has a number of spells at her disposal. Her main attack spells for both games are her Fire and Ice Storm spells. Most enemies have a weakness to one or the other, but use them on the right enemy, and a secondary effect may happen, such as the enemy's clothes catching on fire, wasting their turn, or freezing solid giving you free hits. Arlie also has a number of support spells and items to help her. Some can light up dark areas, warp you to previous floors, make you temporarily immune to or get rid of environmental hazards, as well as charm your foes with kind words, giving you an extra chance to attack them. The graphics and presentation are amazing. Both have bright and colorful cutscenes, which are also slightly animated. In combat, enemy sprites are big, colorful, and drawn in this adorable chibi art style that just gives them a lot of personality. I mean, look at this. It's a freaking reverse merman that attacks you by flexing his sexy legs. This is now my spirit animal. There's also a surprising amount of voice work. Pretty much every character or enemy will have a few lines of spoken dialogue, or several during battle. They're all in Japanese, but it still blew me away, and is another example of the raw power and potential that the Game Gear had over the Game Boy. From what I understand, the original versions of these games had more realistic and dark art style and tone to them. When they were later released on the Game Gear, they were remade to fit the cute Puyo style. After looking at videos of those versions, I can say the change was a good move. While there's not a lot of music in the game, what they do have sounds amazing. The music ranges from slow and beautifully creepy to energetic, wacky, and upbeat. From what I could tell, the music for both games were made by a composer named, and once again, excuse me for my horrible Japanese, Tsuyoshi Matsuhima. But honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I can't find a lot of info on the guy, as a lot of game developers back then used code names. Makes it really hard to track their past and current work. While the game has stellar presentation, it comes with some trade-offs and odd design choices. While the graphics in general look really good, the backgrounds are boring and repetitive. The fact that you're stuck in a dungeon in both games means that you're looking at the same stone walls throughout your entire adventure. There are very little to no landmarks to help identify one area from another. If not for the handy auto-filling map that fills in as you explore, it would be very easy to get lost. As far as I can tell, there was no HP or MP bars, and not even a status screen on the pause menu. The only way you can tell how much health you had was by looking at Arlie's face. When out of combat, her face is displayed on the right side of the screen. When your health is full, she has a huge smile. As you take damage, it changes to a frown and then a grimace. While in combat, you need to pay attention to what's being said. As you and your foe hurt each other, they will say things like, "I'm doing fine," or "Oh god, I'm dying," and, such as that. Because of this, it can be hard to gauge how much health or magic you have left, which led me to a few frustrating, "She said she was doing good, why did that kill me in one hit?" type of deaths. Fortunately, there are some blue orbs around the screen. These represent how much experience you need before you level up. And when you do level up, all your health and magic is restored. Don't get me wrong, Arlie's face is cute and all, but I would rather have a menu to see what my health and status was. While the game is filled with cute chibi monsters and anime characters, the game can be outright brutal at times, especially near the beginning of each. If you try to rush through, you will get slaughtered and become fast friends with the game over screen. To avoid that, you need to spend some time doing plenty of grinding. Eventually, you'll find shops that will sell healing items and extra storage bags. This will make the game much easier and enjoyable in my opinion. There are barely any boss fights. The ones they do have are pretty easy, and the second game actually reused the same boss over and over and over again with, as far as I can tell, little to no changes. Another thing that bothers me is that you miss your attacks a lot. I have never played an RPG where you miss this much so frequently. Think Arlie may need some glasses or something. Now, there are items that can temporarily increase your accuracy, as well as increasing as you level up naturally, but early on in the game, it's still very annoying missing dang near every single attack. Despite these odd design choices, I had a lot of fun playing these games. They were frustrating as heck when you first start, but after some grinding, they eventually dungeon crawl their way into your heart. Including time I spent grinding, it took me about 6 to 7 hours to beat the first game, and 8 to 9 for the second. If you're a fan of tough, old-school dungeon crawlers, or just want to see where the origin of the Puyo series came from, give these games a try. As I said before, there is a part 3, but as of this review, only parts 1 and 2 have been fan-translated into English. If you want to own a physical copy, prices for the Game Gear versions can range from 20 to 50 bucks on eBay, while the original PC version can go from 60 to over 120 bucks. This has been Mega Blade J. If you like the review, like and subscribe for more Let's Plays, reviews, and my poor attempts at being entertaining. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next mission. Bye. Tsuyoshi Tsuyoshi. God, I'm horrible at this. Tsuyoshi. I apologize, I'm sorry. Some of these include Govilius. Despite these odd design choices, I a little God, bleh, bleh, talk normal, bleh, enunciate your words, bleh. La 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 la. Oh.